So a cowboy drives his herd all the way from the high plains into the big market of Chicago. He sells his herd and he gets a whole bunch of money. So he asks the foreman at the stockyards, where's the best restaurant in town? The guy directs him to some fancy French place downtown there. So he goes and he shows up, and he's fresh off the trail. He asks the maitre d' for a table, and the maitre d' says to him, "Sir, we're quite busy. I don't know if we can get you in." Of course, the cowboy senses that he really isn't too interested in serving him, so he hands him a couple bucks, and the waiter says, "Let me look, see if we can find something for you." He looks around, he comes back a few minutes later, he says, "Sir, your lucky day is here. I found something for you. Please follow me." So he takes him back to a table in the back of the restaurant right near the door of the kitchen. Well, he doesn't like this. It's loud, it's noisy, it's confusing. He looks around the restaurant. He spies a nice, beautiful atrium room with sunlight coming in it. He sees a very pretty lady sitting there all by herself, dining alone. He says to the maitre d', he says, "What about table over yonder next to that young lady there?" He says, "Well, that may be reserved." So he hands the maitre d' a couple more bucks. Maitre d' comes back a few minutes later and says, "Sir, you're in luck. That table is not reserved at this time. It is available. Please follow me." So he follows the maitre d' over to the table next to the young lady. He sits down, starts looking at his menu. He looks over to the young lady, tips his hat. She looks at him with total disdain. It was obvious that she didn't like cowboys and didn't care for him. So his little plan didn't work out quite that well, and he was quite disappointed. Pretty soon a waiter comes over and takes the young lady's order. She says, "I would like the fowl, the breast of virgin fowl. Make sure it's a virgin. Pluck it yourself. Garnish my plate with some parsley. And bring me a cup of tea. Not too hot, not too cold. Oh, and waiter, see if you can open a window. I smell horse. There must be a cowboy in the house." Obviously, he senses her disrespect for him, for cowboys, and he's quite disappointed. A couple minutes later, the waiter comes back to take his order. He says to the waiter, "I'll have the duck. Fucked, duck. Fuck it yourself. Garnish my plate with any old bullshit you got back there. And bring me a cup of coffee about as strong as Texas mule piss. Any foam on the top? Don't worry about it. I'll just blow it on off with a big old fart. Oh, and waiter, see if you can knock out yonder wall. I smell snatch. There must be a whore in the house."